Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Okay, here we go. Okay, all right. Let me repeat. I want to remind you to turn off your cell phones or anything else that makes noise, and we'll proceed. Again, welcome to the February 20th meeting of the Skokie Plan Commission. And our first order of business is to call the attendance. Commissioner Speyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Minchella.
Here.
Commissioner Scott Berman.
Here.
Commissioner Franklin.
Here. I've done the same
Commissioner
thing.
Givanyahu is
Oh, I'm supposed
absent.
to say.
Commissioner Gupta is absent. And Commissioner Jeff Berman. And Commissioner Matei is absent, and I'm here. We do have a quorum. Thank you very much. First order of business is to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Motion, Jeff Berman, Scott Berman. Any corrections or additions to the minutes? None? Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay, the ayes win. Okay, first case tonight is case 2025-0P, a special use permit request at 4658 Oakton Street for the Mosaic Early Childhood Development Center. I believe that daycare. Okay. Is the petitioner here tonight? Please come up. Yes, at the podium. And as you come up, could you just give us your name and your address?
My name is Sana Bojani. My address is 8800 Kildare, and then the special use permit address is 4658 Oakton
Okay.
Street.
Counselor, is there a notice and order?
Yes, no, this is proper and correct.
Okay. Would you raise your right hand? I'll swear you in. Are you the only one speaking tonight on your behalf?
Sorry?
Are you the only one speaking tonight?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you affirm that the testimony you give tonight is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth to help you?
yes.
Thank you. All right. If you would, give us an overview of your request.
So the request is to operate a child care center. We already have one right across the street. This was approved for a child care center before. So we are hoping to just continue that special use permit.
Okay. How many clients do you have? Little clients?
So across the street, we have about 53 parents enrolled, but there is a need, because we're always getting more people coming to the door. There is a need for before and after school from District 69, so we are in their district. We've already confirmed that they'll
Okay.
drop off, pick up. And then there's a need for a little bit more flexible care, so with more spots available, we can fulfill that with the new building.
Okay. What would be the capacity at this location?
When we did the math, it's between 45 and 60, depending on the age groups.
Okay. And how many teachers or helpers or assistants do you have there?
We will have about 10 to 15,
Okay.
depending on ratios.
Very good. Any questions of the petitioner from the commission?
Is this one going to be one question, is this a separately operated facility than the one across the street?
It'll have its own license.
And its own license, its own supervisor on site?
Yeah.
Okay. Will you be shuffling children back and forth between the two locations or other
No,
locations?
not
No.
between our locations, no.
Okay.
The plan for any sort of busing would be to and from 69.
Okay. Okay. Looks like she wants to speak. Yeah, she does want to speak.
Okay, I'll feed you.
Okay. Yes, Jeff Berman.
Just two questions. So there will be bus pickup and drop off, full-size school buses, or is it going to be vans?
It'll be school buses, like the smaller ones,
How many times a day?
just once.
And will it be on Oakton? Or
So we have a parking lot as well in the back. There's also an alley in the back. It wouldn't be on Oakton. It would be either on Kilpatrick, the parking lot, or the alley.
Okay. And what is the ratio of teacher to or staff to students?
So infants is 1 to 4, toddlers is 1 to 5, preschoolers is 1 to 10, and then school age kids is 1 to 20.
And that's prescribed by the state?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. If you're finished with the presentation, I'll ask the staff to come up and present its case or
Sure.
report to us. Okay, thank you. We will call you back
Yeah.
as soon as you're finished. Okay.
Good
Good evening.
evening, Commissioners and Chairperson Luke. I'd like to ask that the staff report be accepted into the record as written.
Okay, so granted.
Case 2025-01P is a request for a special use permit to operate a daycare located at 4658 Oakton Street in the CX Core Mixed Use District. This site contains a vacant child care facility, an outdoor playground, and a surface parking lot containing 6 spaces. Special use permit for a child daycare not in a residence was granted by the village to the previous petitioner in January of 2019. That was case 2018-41P. The interior of the building was remodeled and improvements were made to the exterior of the site, which included expanding the parking lot, constructing a new play area and trash corral, and planting new landscaping. The daycare facility never commenced operations. The parking lot is accessible from Kilpatrick Avenue. Overhead utilities run in an east-west direction along the south side of the alley to the north of the subject site. 90-minute street parking is available along the north side of Oakton Street. There's a 15-minute loading zone in effect weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Along the east side of Kilpatrick between Oakton Street and the driveway leading to the parking lot at 4658 Oakton Street. Parking is prohibited along the west side of Kilpatrick Avenue directly across from the subject site. Parking is allowed by permit only between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. along both sides of Kilpatrick Avenue to the north of the east-west alley. In terms of complete streets, I just wanted to note that public sidewalks are present along both Oakton and Kilpatrick. The bicycle rack that had been installed within the Oakton Street Parkway as part of the previous daycare request was removed in 2023 during a construction project, and the applicant intends to replace it. The closest bike path is the Skokie Valley Trail, which is located approximately 1.5 blocks to the west of the subject site, and it is directly served by the CTA 97 bus and the CTA 54A North Cicero Skokie Boulevard bus, and the PACE 110 Lincoln Avenue bus runs 1 block to the west of the subject site, and that is also where the CTA Yellow Line is located. So it is within walking distance of residential neighborhoods, services, shops, and schools. So as the petitioner mentioned, they will be able to accommodate up to 43 children, have 15 staff, and will be open 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. 7 days a week. Full-day programming will be offered for infants up to preschool-age children. Before and after school care will be available for children 6 to 12 years of age. All children will be dropped off and picked up from the daycare's front entrance, which is on the southwest corner of the site. And all meals are also prepared on site. So, as I previously stated, they plan to install the bike rack that was present prior to the street work. They will restripe all faded parking space markings and relocate a no parking sign in the parking lot to a fence on the north side of the playground. In addition, the petitioner has agreed to replace any landscape that is missing prior to July 31st, 2025, that was represented on the previously approved landscape plan. That landscape plan is in fact still active. Staff recommends that the petitioner's request for a special use permit for a child daycare not in a residence in a CX Core Mixed Use District be approved, subject to the recommended conditions and attached positive findings of fact.
Kate, do you foresee any adverse impact of the traffic in that neighborhood?
That was not a matter of concern for staff.
Okay.
The Proposed findings are that this will reactivate a building that has been vacant for several years and provide a service that is desired by the community. There are adequate public facilities, including roads, drainage, utilities, and police and fire protection to serve the requested use. The provision for maintenance is adequate, and they also have metal guardrails to protect the playground from vehicle maneuvers. And there is adequate landscaping and no adverse impacts to the natural environment are anticipated. Here we talk about the traffic, and they will utilize the existing signed loading area on the east side of Kilpatrick for drop-off and pickup, and the staggered schedules that the petitioner has indicated are implemented to reduce congestion during the peak times. Therefore, public health, safety, and welfare will be positively affected by the request as it adds a health amenity to the community. And applicable provisions of this code are conformed to by this request. Here is an image of the site plan. May have remembered seeing something pretty similar in 2019. This is what is proposed for the interior. And these are the recommended conditions. They will be required to develop the subject site in substantial conformance with these plans that were just shown. As discussed, the bike rack, restriping of the parking lot, and relocation of that no parking sign would be required to occur. They would need to replace missing landscaping no later than July 31st of 2025, and all documents shall be electronic files delivered to the planning division. And that concludes my report.
Okay. Any questions of the staff? Commissioner Berman?
I'd like to add two conditions, actually, it's two parts of the same condition, that the exterior of the building be designed in such a way consistent with already existing village rules, both for the entire painting of windows that we do not allow, and the sign being proportionate to the scale and size of the building. So that's one condition, part A, part B, that I'd like to add to the conditions.
So you're certainly welcome to do so as the Plan Commission. I would also note that any project going before, applying for permits to the village would be required to comply with all codes, including window coverings and signage. Such applications
Yes.
would not be approved if permits were applied for that didn't meet the standards of the code.
They have been, the problem is that I have noticed, I've taken my own notice that this has happened in the past few years in the village, and I would rather it not happen this time, or any time, so.
Excuse me, Commissioner Berman, aren't we kind of venturing into the Appearance Commission on this? I mean,
Well,
do they need Appearance Commission approval in this case?
In the past, the Appearance Commission came first, which I would like to
Right.
return to, but we're not doing that at the moment. So as I would like the Appearance Commission to have reviewed it and us then to be reviewing a finished plan, I can only now go back to the Appearance Commission, as we are first and they are second, to tell them that we take notice of the fact that sometimes we send them finished plans that then are not consistent, and they then make a decision,
Well,
not consistent with the village
I'm
code.
kind of uneasy about that, because that is their area of expertise, and that's what they should be doing. I don't think it's in our purview to act as an Appearance Commission.
I just want to make it consistent with our code.
We will reflect this in this thought in the minutes and share that with the Appearance Commission.
Okay, if that's part of the minutes, it doesn't have to be a condition. As long as
Right.
it's just brought up and raised, that's fine then.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Commissioner Berman?
You know, I'm sure I've asked this before, but the kitchen is basically permitted and inspected by the health department?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, and hate to ask this, but I always do, since food is being served, and is there 4-hour requirement for making sure that the grounds all the way around it are maintained every 4 hours and any trash is picked up?
Well, I think that's a requirement of a restaurant to put,
Well, it's not really. It's any place where, in the ordinances, anywhere where food is prepared and/or sold.
If it's in the ordinance, we will enforce it.
Okay. Thank you.
okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Kate. Okay, is there anybody in the audience who wishes to come up and have a question or comment on this particular case? Okay, no? Okay, could I ask the petitioner to come back up, please? So you've heard the staff's report.
Yes.
Do you have anything to add, or do you have any questions or comments?
No.
Okay, so you're happy with all the recommended conditions?
Yeah.
And you can meet all those?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Any further questions? Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Since there are no comments from the audience, do we?
I move approval as presented.
Second.
And second by, thank you. Second by Spire. Okay, call for the vote. Commissioner Spire,
Aye.
Commissioner Manchella,
Aye.
Commissioner Scott Berman.
Aye.
Commissioner Franklin,
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Berman,
Aye.
and I'll vote aye. The motion passes. This case still has to go before the Board of Trustees for their final approval, and the board meets on the first and third Monday of every month. Okay. Now, moving on to the next case, and I've been reminded by our Community Development Director that we've changed our format. And we have three cases that are related, actually a bunch of cases here. Case 2024-30P, 31P, 32P, 33P, and 34P. And this is for, the address is at 7848, 7852 through 7854 Lincoln Avenue for a religious assembly use with dormitories. Now, we have changed our format, and I had forgotten that we did in our first case. What we'll do, we'll have the staff come up, present its case reports, and then we'll have the petitioner come up and have them give us their presentation, and then I will open it up to questions from the floor. Okay? And who's going to present the case? Kate? And before Kate goes up to the counselor, is there notice and order?
Yes, notice is proper and correct.
Thank you.
In all cases.
Okay, good evening once again, Commissioners and Chairperson Luke. I'd like to ask that the staff report be accepted into the record with one correction in text on page 5. That
Which report?
the staff report,
Of which case?
for all cases, there's one staff report for all cases.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's
You
okay.
Page, okay.
So on page,
I was looking for a number.
on page 5, the address for Wintrust Bank is
Okay.
in fact located at 7800 Lincoln Avenue.
Okay. So noted.
Accepted with corrections? Okay, thank
accepted.
you so much. Okay. So cases 2024-30P through 2024-34P are related to the proposed development of 7852 Lincoln Avenue. The petitioner proposes to construct a 3-story building in the NX Neighborhood Mixed Use District that contains a religious assembly use, as well as 17 dormitory units, along with surface parking at the site. Site plan approval is required in case 2024-30P due to the height of the proposed building, which exceeds the permitted 25-foot base building height. The proposed building height is 33 feet 2 inches, which is consistent with the adjacent Lincoln Junior High and Wintrust Bank. There is no relief being granted as part of the subject case. Staff recommends that the petitioner's request for site plan approval to construct a 3-story building along with surface parking at 7852 Lincoln Avenue in an NX Neighborhood Mixed Use District be approved subject to the recommended conditions and the attached proposed positive findings of fact. So the following are the proposed findings of fact. The request will be harmonious with and will not adversely affect adjacent properties as long as the conditions of site plan approval are met. The request will have adequate public facilities, including roads and drainage, utilities, and police and fire protection, which exist or will exist to serve the requested use at the time such facilities are needed. And I will note that the MWRD determination requirements have been addressed, and the stormwater calculations have been provided and reviewed by staff. The request will have adequate provisions for maintenance of the associated structures. No adverse effects on the natural environment are anticipated. It is not anticipated that the request will create undue traffic congestion, as steps will be taken to accommodate increased traffic during meditation retreats and Abbot visits. Public health, safety, and welfare will not be adversely affected by the requests, as the religious assembly is typically low impact in terms of gathering frequency and member attendance. The request will conform to all applicable provisions of this code. So, I'm a couple slides behind, I apologize. This is the proposed site plan showing the surface parking and the overall site, with the entrance off of Babb Avenue. The first floor plan shows the layout, which includes a dining hall, kitchen, storage rooms, offices, meeting rooms, and a Buddha hall. The second floor has a total of 9 rooms with 16 beds and restrooms. And the third floor has 7 rooms with 14 beds and restrooms. The recommended site plan approval conditions from staff are in the packet and on the screen for your review. In summary, the subject property shall be developed in substantial conformance with the final village-approved plans and submitted as electronic files. I would highlight condition number 3. The proposed development shall have a minimum of 11 off-street vehicle parking spaces, including 1 accessible parking space and a minimum of 4 bicycle parking spaces, as indicated on the site plan that was dated, or that is dated September 14th, 2024. I would also note, I apologize, condition 5, that the petitioner shall sign an agreement for installation and maintenance of landscaping to accompany any ordinance that would go before the board. That the number of visiting teacher retreats shall be limited to 6 times per calendar year. Oh, and also number 7, for the purpose of accommodating any Abbott's visit, large special event, the petitioner shall submit to the village 90 days in advance of the event and receive approval for a special event application that includes an agreement for off-street vehicle parking located within 0.5 miles of the subject site. Case 2024-32 is a request for religious assembly special use permit. The staff recommends that the petitioner's request for a special use permit for religious assembly in the NX Neighborhood Mixed Use Zoning District be approved, subject to the attached positive findings of fact, which are as follows. Institutional uses are accommodated in commercial districts as they give the village stability and add to its sense of place. The proposed use is generally low impact and harmonized with existing development. The proposed use does not adversely affect the current uses on adjacent properties. The proposed use is currently compatible with the existing uses of adjacent properties. The proposed request does demonstrate that all existing public facilities are adequate. The request demonstrates adequate provision for maintenance and use of the associated structures. There will be little or no adverse effect on the natural environment. The proposed use is not expected to create undue traffic congestion. The proposed use will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or general welfare of the Village of Skokie. The request as amended by staff conforms to all applicable provisions of the code. And these are the recommended conditions for your review. They are similar to the information on the conditions listed for case 2024-30P. I will highlight number 3 that states that the owner of the subject property and its tenant shall ensure that employees park on the subject property. You'll also see that the conditions would explicitly provide rules around the Abbott's visit and the language that if the conditions were not adhered to, the ordinance could potentially be repealed. So, case 2024-34P is the request for the dormitory special use. And this would be an accessory use to the religious assembly. I would like to explain that the Skokie Village Code general definitions provides that dormitory means a rooming or boarding establishment that serves a specific group or membership, provides temporary accommodations, and may offer housing, meals, and laundry services. And this use, in Appendix A, most closely matches the use description provided by the applicant. The petitioner has communicated that this request is for overnight accommodations for meditation retreats and Abbot visits. There are a total of 17 rooms on the site, which would be used annually 6 times a year for the meditation retreats with around 30 participants, and for the overnight stay of the Abbot, who would visit once every 2 years. Staff recommends that the petitioner's request for special use permit for a dormitory in the NX Mixed Use District be approved, subject to the attached positive findings of fact. And these are as follows. The low-impact nature of the dormitory use aligns with the stability of mixing uses in a context-appropriate way as identified in the comprehensive plan. There should be no adverse effects created by the proposed use upon the adjacent properties or businesses. The request is compatible with the existing or allowable uses in the area. Adequate public facilities will exist to serve the request. Adequate provision for maintenance and use of the associated structures as demonstrated by the request. No adverse effects on the environment will be created by the proposed use. Undue traffic congestion will not be created by the proposed use. There should be no adverse effect upon public health, safety, and welfare by the request, and all applicable provisions of this code are conformed to by the request.
Okay. Any questions of the staff?
There's actually one more case.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Getting ahead of myself.
So, that's okay. The recommended conditions are here before you. Again, somewhat similar to the conditions throughout this case. Electronic files. There would be a cap in the conditions on a maximum of 6 times per year for the visiting teacher retreats and for the purpose of lodging for the Abbot. That would occur every 2 years. They would have to, the petitioner would have to comply with all federal and state statutes, laws, rules, and regulations, and all village codes, ordinances, rules, and regulations. And again, failure to abide with any and all terms of this ordinance would be cause for the village to initiate hearings that ultimately could result in the ordinance being repealed, in short. So, our final two cases, 2025, 31P and 33P, are the parking determinations. The Skokie Village Code requires a parking determination for the religious assembly and dormitory use, which in other words means that the code does not speak explicitly to what the parking requirements are for these uses, but instead the Plan Commission makes that determination. Staff recommends that the Plan Commission determine the off-street parking requirements for the proposed religious assembly use to be 13 vehicle parking spaces and 1 bicycle parking space. A total of 11 spaces are provided within the lot that the DDMBA Chicago organization will occupy. Relief from off-street parking requirements in the mixed-use zoning districts is not allowed per the village zoning code. Instead, a payment would have to be made to the village's parking fund for every deficient parking space. In this case, a payment of $30,000 would be required in lieu of 2 parking spaces. Staff's parking analysis for the proposed use supports the requirement for the petitioner to make a financial contribution in lieu of providing off-street parking. An additional 15 parking spaces are being leased from the Assyrian National Council of Illinois to be utilized all days and weekends and all day on weekends, and after 5:30 p.m. on weekdays. The leasing hours are outside of the Assyrian National Council's normal hours of operation, and therefore the off-site parking arrangement is acceptable to the village. Staff also recommends that the Plan Commission determine the off-street parking requirement for the proposed dormitory use at 7852 Lincoln Avenue to be 27 vehicle parking spaces and 1 bicycle parking space, which takes into account the leased parking space arrangement. That concludes my presentation, and I will say that the applicant is here and will make a presentation as well.
Any questions of the staff? I'm not ready for questions from the audience yet.
Couple of questions. You indicated that it was clearly a condition that the dormitory use will only be 6 times a year for teacher visits. But the Abbott visit at once every 2 years, I don't know appeared as a condition. I think it was something you merely said was expected. Because the Abbott visit relates to this next question I'm going to ask about the 0.5 mile parking radius. So is that a condition?
Yes.
Condition, 600, first of all, and ancillary staff for this visit once every 2 years. So that exists in 34P, but other places where I don't think you made that a condition. Not that it's, if it is a condition, maybe it just wasn't. So here, on this one, it just says, shall be limited 6 times per year for visiting teachers. Another time, teacher retreats 6 times a year. So at all the other points, it does not, this does not say.
It's separate, it's 2 conditions in case 2024 32P.
Yeah, but 32P does not say that it occurs once every 2 years, does it?
Let me ask a question.
No, I'm just asking the question. Does it appear in number 5 that it only occurs once every 2 years?
So Commissioner Berman, I do apologize. I don't have the staff report in front of me. The PowerPoint may be a summarized version of those conditions, but to your concern, should the commission decide to advance this to the board, we can certainly confirm that all of that information is explicitly outlined in the conditions.
Great, thanks. And then this goes along with my next question about the 0.5 mile radius. So when this occurs once every 2 years, and the village then gives this off-street parking, this agreement for the other use 0.5 miles from the site, does this include putting signs up on side streets to tell people that they cannot park on those side streets within a half mile of the site because this is going to be used for a special event?
So the special event permit process is outlined on the village website. It is used by all types of organizations and entities throughout the village, including churches, synagogues, similar organizations when they host special events. The language that staff has put in here does not promise or guarantee approval. it means that the applicant would have to go through the same process as any other organization within the village who applies for a special event permit. To your question about permit parking, this was discussed with our engineering department. The matter of permit parking, which is also generally covered on our website, evaluates instances of considerable parking congestion on a case-by-case basis. However, their first step, when concerns are identified, is that they work with property owners in the area to mitigate concerns. It is common for matters to be resolved through this approach. The majority of permit parking that exists in the village of Skokie relates to the transit-oriented areas. So permit parking in residential neighborhoods is not common and is determined by traffic engineering related to specific circumstances. So it wouldn't be typical to preemptively institute something like that. It could be instituted in the future if the circumstances and conditions were determined by traffic engineering to call for that.
So the last follow-up question on this 0.5 mile radius special event, once every 2-year parking, is it is on a case-by-case basis, and it could be denied by the village at that time?
That's potentially the case, yes. I'm not aware in communicating with the village manager's office that is common. It seems that most organizations who apply for that special event permit come up with a solution that's acceptable to the village. What that does allow the village to do in advance of special events is have the event be subject to the review of all village departments, including police and fire. In some instances, not only in this municipality, but in others as well, when large events are reviewed by staff, they may determine that additional staffing is required on part of the police department, for example, and those costs have to be borne by the applicant. So it's a
Special.
comprehensive review of what is proposed to come, so that the any potential public impacts can be mitigated in advance of the event.
Okay.
I would also add, it's relatively unusual for someone to talk about special events during their site plan approval process. So in some ways, we have a little bit greater understanding of how they might use the site. A lot of entities may just have a special event once a year, and it pops up after they've done their thing and built. So this is a little unique in that they shared how they're going to use it, and we, instead of trying to regulate something that happens very infrequently, we explained our special use process, and that's now embedded in a condition. So I just want to differentiate that that's a little unique, and I think our special use process, similar to, as Kate pointed out, it regularly will review how this site is used.
Kate, so we've established that they can have 6 events per year and 1 visit by the abbot within a 2-year period. In that time frame, are they allowed to board a single person overnight for a couple of days?
The condition is not intended to allow that, no.
Okay. Any questions? Commissioner Berman?
I'm kind of a lonely side over here.
That's like, I'm not ignoring you, but,
Two things. One is up to a half a mile away for the accommodation for the additional parking, and so is that, and it could be any day of the week. Is it anticipated that shuttle buses are going to be running back and forth, or it's expected that they would walk?
So I will let the petitioner speak more specifically about what they might have contemplated. The 0.5 miles is staff evaluating what is reasonable and would be acceptable in terms of pedestrian foot traffic, vehicular traffic. As to whether there would be a shuttle bus, I would make that, I would raise that question with the applicant.
And one additional parking question is, has there been discussion among staff when there's 100 or 150 participants in an event where some of that additional parking might come from?
I do believe that the applicant has contemplated some options for that, and I will let them speak to that. That was not a formal submittal with their application.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions of staff? None, okay, thank you. At this time, I will ask the petitioner to come up, and I will open the floor to any questions or comments. The reason I do that is, I'd like to have the petitioner come up, present its case. Your answers may be answered by the petitioner, or it may cause more questions. So I want to give you an opportunity to hear the staff case and the petitioner's case before I ask you to come up. Is the petitioner here tonight? Please come up. And would you all give us your name and address, please?
Sure. My name's Alan Myers, 1145 Fairfield Road in Glencoe, Illinois.
I'm Yongwoo Chen, 4110 Ferris Road, Northbrook.
We're not speaking, but just. My name is Iris Wang. Live in 1144 Waukegan Road, Northbrook.
Okay, thank you. And, sir, do you represent them, or are you?
Yes.
As
No, I'm the president of the organization.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask all three of you to raise your hand, please? Do you affirm that the testimony you give tonight is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Please proceed.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you to the Village of Skokie and its commissioners for giving us the opportunity to present this evening. I'm here with Iris Wang and Yongwoo Chen to discuss our application for a building permit in the Village of Skokie.
So you're asking for a special use permit, not a building permit.
Okay, a special use permit. Tonight, we want to speak to who we are as an organization. We want to talk about the plans for our new home in Skokie, give you an idea of some of the regular and special events that take place that would take place in our facility, a little bit about our tradition, as well as just give you an idea of what some of the buildings look like, Taiwan, U.S. headquarters, et cetera, and then, of course, time for questions and answers. Who we are the Chicago chapter of Dharmadrum Mountain Buddhist Association. We're a local chapter founded in 1993 by Iris Wang. We are a local chapter that is a part of Dharmadrum Mountain Buddhist Association USA. There are a number of different local chapters around the United States and North America, who is then part of the larger organization, which is DDM Taiwan, which was founded in 1989 by Chan Master Sheng Yan. So we are a local chapter of a larger organization, and we have their support in our petition here to build a new building. We are a registered 501c3, and we're a not-for-profit charitable organization run by volunteers. And just to give you an idea of our organization chart, there are a number of us here that are, Iris is leading our teaching efforts. I am responsible for administration, facilities, bookkeeping, membership, et cetera. And then Michael Schnabel, who is also here, is in charge of our outreach. And we have a number of volunteers that help, and we have a number of them here today for the presentation. So we are a place to study and practice Chan Buddhism. I don't know if you've heard of Chan Buddhism, but just to explain a little bit, Chan was first came about in China, and as it then moved east to Japan, it became Zen. So I'm sure a lot of people have heard of Zen Buddhism. It's known as Zen in both China and Korea. In China, That particular school of Buddhism is called Chan. And we're dedicated to the well-being of people nearby and afar, and I hope to show you that in our presentation. So this is where we are currently. Our current location is in Wheeling, Illinois. It's a office space and a warehouse area within Wheeling. But when you go inside, it's a nice sort of warm, welcoming meditation center. This is just a picture of our an event that would happen on a Sunday morning Chan workshop. We start with some silent meditation, and then after that we have a book study. So this is just a picture of the group, sitting around. We're discussing a book, and it's often one that was written by Master Cheng Yen. In terms of plans for our new home, so this is a picture of the existing center that is at the corner of Lincoln Avenue and Babb. It's an existing a Zen center that is currently not in use, and then there's the real estate office that is just to the east, southeast. Just to give you a little better idea of the orientation, this is where the center is here. And we're currently right here by the public library. So if you stand on the corner of Lincoln and Babb, this is what you would see. And if you were then to move to Babb Avenue and look in directly at the front door, then this would be the view. We also have an illustration of the view from the alley, which is entered from Babb, and so this is a illustration of the building from the back. We also have a landscape plan that Young Woo has been working with the village to determine the proper plants and trees, et cetera, to be used, and we'll continue to work with them and get that squared away so that we're in compliance with the village requirements. Just to give you an idea of how our buildings stacks up with some of the other buildings in the area, we are at, our building is planned to be at 33 feet and 2 inches. The building right next door is 31 feet, and then the North Shore Community Bank and Trust, which is just down the street, is 35. If you look across the street to the Lincoln Junior High School, then that is 36 feet. So we're not an outlier, certainly in terms of height in the surrounding neighborhood. Yeah. And then we wanted to just give a representation of what an aerial view would look like once our building is completed. And it shows here then that this would be the new building at a maximum height of 33 feet 2 inches. On top of the meditation hall, we're looking at 25 feet 4 inches. Again, the building right next to it at 31 feet, and then down below here is the bank at 35. In terms of floor plan, we will have a basement, and in the basement, laundry, restroom, mechanicals, and a little bit of storage. The main floor is where we'll have all of the activities. The meditation hall, called the Buddha Hall here. There is a dining room or activity room, kitchen, a library, book study area, and a couple of different office spaces there. On the second floor is where we have what we would call retreat accommodations, because these are rooms that would only be used during retreats. And so I think there are 9 on this floor, and then the third floor has 7, so 16 rooms altogether here. More about these retreat accommodations. So they're only in use during the visiting teacher retreats. 16 rooms, maximum 32 beds, Our special use permit application includes a maximum of 6 retreats per year. In '24 and in '25, we'll have 2 retreats, and that would have used accommodations if we have it. These retreats require a lot of planning and a lot of volunteer time, et cetera. So we don't take on additional retreats lightly. So it is something that we wouldn't be, bumping up against that maximum 6 retreats very quickly. So retreats usually run, say, from Friday evening through Sunday. So that would lead to the retreat accommodations being used approximately 6 to 12 nights in a whole year. There are 11 parking spaces designated on site. We have leased we have a 10-year lease with the Assyrian National Council of Illinois for 15 other parking spaces to be used in the evening and on the weekends. And then Young Lou has spoken with North Shore Community Bank about the use of those parking spaces on the weekend as well. In terms of regular and special events, I'll just take a look at our website just to give you an idea of what the upcoming special events are. So we have a beginner's meditation class in March that Iris will be leading. There is a couple of weekends in April where we're having a visiting teacher. The first one is a lecture series, and that lecture series would not use, that would be something that people would come in the day, they would have the lecture series, and then they would go home. But the following weekend, there is a 3-day Chan retreat or meditation retreat, and on that type of a retreat, then the retreat accommodations would be used. And that's a Friday through Sunday, so it would be 2 nights of use. We do have the Buddha's birthday in May, which we'll be celebrating, and then we have a volunteer appreciation day in June, and then again in July we have another retreat, which we would be. It's it's a Saturday and Sunday retreat, and so that retreat then would be. That would again be one that we would want to use accommodations, obviously if we had them. In terms of weekly events, we have the Sunday morning meditation and Chan workshop. We have a yoga class, which we think would be good for the community, offering yoga as well as Tai Chi. So these are things that would be open to the public. So we feel like our events are dedicated to the well-being of the neighbors, the yoga, the meditation, academic study, we do the book study, and we have some caring services and public outreach that we do as well.
Neighbors are free for membership.
Right, so all classes are open to the public, and most are free or very modest charge. This is just a list of the different things that we have. I outlined, Tai Chi, yoga. We have the Chan workshop on Sunday mornings. Again, the number of participants is relatively small, 8 to 15 or so, except for the visiting teacher retreats. We have 25, 30 people attending those, and then the Abbott visit, which we had spoke about. I've actually been a member since 2018, and I haven't seen an Abbott visit yet. So it's not something that is happening very frequently at any rate. So this is just a picture. Iris did a meditation class at the University of Chicago. Here we had some students. One of our members is teaching high school. They came in to learn about meditation, to learn about Buddhism, and a couple of the members in our outreach area led this presentation and meditation. And this is a picture from our latest retreat. I counted them earlier. There's about 25 people at this particular retreat. And of course, with any retreats or activities, there's always food we have volunteers that bring the food for the people that are on retreat, and it's a really nice way to give to the people that are there. And then after our Sunday Chan workshop, we often have meals as well. So we bring in food for the people that come to the Chan workshop. And in terms of community involvement, during the COVID lockdown, when masks were in short supply, we had 10,000 masks that we distributed to our members, to neighbors, to retirement homes in the area, and we gave over 5,000 meals to local hospital doctors and nurses that were on the front line. In terms of our tradition, it's really based on our Chan master Sheng Yen. He passed away in 2009, but he was really an advocate for peace. And he was speaking at the World Peace Summit in 2000. But he was an advocate for peace and for inter and intra-faith conversation. Here, he's speaking with the Dalai Lama, so the Chinese Chan master and the Tibetan and the Tibetan monk, the Dalai Lama. Here he's in conversations with the Pope and then with other religious leaders, really just hoping to reduce opposition among people. And here just a picture of a couple of different peace conferences where he spoke. So just to give you an idea of the different centers around the world, this should load in a second. There we go. Just some pictures of the different meditation centers around the world. This is Asia. We've got Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Hong Kong. So a number of different centers around in Asia. And then in the U.S., there is a fairly large number of chapters. There's the Meditation Center in Pine Bush, New York. There's New York City, our Chicago chapter, Tallahassee, Toronto, Los Angeles, Vancouver. So we are part of a much larger organization, San Francisco, a few others around. But just to give you, this is a photo of the center in Taiwan. This is the headquarters for the whole organization. It's a university, it's a monastery, it's a retreat center. Actually, a number of us, I think there's 10 or 12 of us that this fall are going to Taiwan to visit the center. So we're really excited about that. And then this is a picture of the Dharma Drum Retreat Center in Pine Bush. Just this meditation hall, I've been in it. It is very tranquil. It's something that we hope to imitate and reproduce in our own home here in Skokie. At this point, we open it up to any questions.
Okay, any questions of the petitioner, Commissioner Spare? Could you speak to your microphone?
When the dormitories are not being used, what are they just sitting vacant, or is something else going to be happening?
So they would be vacant when they're not used. We do not plan to have any regular use of those dormitory rooms. They would just be during the retreats.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have one question. I didn't notice any windows in the diagram, although maybe they exist and I couldn't read it through the panels.
Yeah. So these would be windows here in the front.
Oh, those are windows.
Yes, and this up here on this third floor, those are all windows. On the side, we've got windows here, and this is all glass up here on the upper level of the meditation.
Great. I thought I was just reading it all as panels, and I didn't think that was so. Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Any other questions? Commissioner Berman?
So describe what a typical weekend retreat day for a participant would be like.
Sure. So we generally get started about 9 o'clock. There is a sitting meditation. There are lectures. There is there's an opportunity to have an interview with the visiting teacher. There are lunch meals. We have what we call noble silence during retreats. So you come in to the retreat and you're not speaking with the other participants. At the very beginning, before things get started, obviously yes, as we're getting started. But once the retreat starts, we ask that the participants focus on their meditation practice and are not speaking with other participants. We do have we have work periods where people are cleaning the meditation hall. They're helping in the kitchen. So meals are provided. It would then run in the afternoon. Then again, a combination of meditation and lectures from the visiting teacher, and then we'd have a light dinner, and then there would be again in the evening. Then there would be some yoga, some other activities, and then the retreat would end for the day. So let's say that's on a Saturday, and then in this case, then we would have the participants go to their rooms and spend the night there, and then come back, and then there would be another day of a similar set of activities. So
Can you explain why we need them stay instead of going home?
Sure. So the reason for having the retreat accommodations is that we've asked them to really focus on their meditation practice and to keep a noble silence. And if you have to, then leave, say, at 9 o'clock at night for the day and go back out into traffic, and you're driving. You've got all of the activities and all of that. And it just sort of breaks the practice that you're trying to do, and you go home. You're home with your family. You can't just say, no, I'm going to go down in the basement and be there for the night. So it really is more conducive to a beneficial retreat if people can come and be there and practice for the weekend as opposed to.
And they're occupied the entire time in the center. They're not out wandering in the neighborhood or taking walks or anything. They're completely
Correct.
occupied within your facility.
We have, quite honestly, we have had walking meditations outside, but
As a group.
yes, as a group, and all of the activities are then inside the meditation center. Yes. Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. I'm going to have to ask you to sit down, and I will open the floor to anyone who has a question or comment. Please come up. And we do have a list if you want to sign up. Give us your name and your address, email address. We will notify you when this case will go before the board. Also, you'll get a copy of the report.
That's just the sign-in sheet. We need people to sign in so we can take it for minutes.
Okay.
So just questions.
But just right at the microphone, please.
Questions, right?
I'm
Yes.
sorry, if you'd like to sign up for public comment, if you could fill out the pink sheet, that would be helpful, so then we can make sure the spelling of names of people who speak is correct. And then we're gonna collect it and bring it up here.
Yeah, we need to put that in the back next time. Oh, okay. Yes, please. Your name and address?
So
What's
my
the name?
Yes, my name is Nadia Vasil. I live at 7836 Bab Avenue. So, do I start from questions or comments?
Both.
Okay. So my first question, what is the condition of rental parking space agreement
Would you
with
you-
us?
would you
Assyrian?
address your questions to us, please?
Huh?
Address your questions to the commission.
To commissioner?
Yes,
To staff?
yes.
Okay. Where is the staff report?
Where is the staff report?
Yeah,
We can give you a copy of staff report, yes.
but we didn't hear it. Did you guys read the staff report?
Do we have copies of staff report for the public?
It's online.
It is online.
Yeah, she
But did you guys read it? Yes. Okay. All right, so staff report claims that there is a parking agreement, right? My question is, how is that can be approved if that parking agreement contains three?
Well, in the
The
re-
lease parks cars only need areas is, so basically lease will park cars at premises 4-8 times a year.
okay. With regards
And
to the
then
park.
this agreement can be canceled by leaser within 3 months prior notice.
Okay,
So
In
what's gonna happen when this agreement will be canceled in 3 months?
well, then they'll have to come back to us and find another place to park.
Well, that will be kind of too late, right?
No, they'll be given notice, and then they have to come back and let us know that they're losing a parking space.
And, okay, so they will build this facility, they're losing their agreement, and where are they gonna accommodate their parking spaces? Am I right? This is your conditions of the agreement, right?
Okay. We'll try and get that question answered, okay?
Please, I wanna answer. I wanna answer. Because the reason why, Mr. he showed, like, very zoomed out, like, from the space, that his facility is very small comparing to other buildings, but next to him is right here, the small building. And I wanna ask you, what's around 0.5 miles around this facility?
There's a public parking lot.
Public parking lot?
Yes,
Which one?
it's over at,
I don't think so.
there's a
Can
lot
you-
there, and then there's a
can we
lot,
go back
there's a
to
lot at
the-
Lincoln and Niles Center.
Can we go back to the, hold on. All right.
The parking lot, there's a public parking lot at
So
Lincoln.
they are want to print right here, right? So this is Babb Avenue, okay. So right here in the corner, the first house is right here. So we are the first ones who's gonna get, my house is right here.
Mm-hmm.
So we are the first ones who is gonna be within 0.5. And this is parking, it belongs to the school. If they have events, if I have events of 80 people,
Yes,
how can you answer the question? How they will cover the parking? Well, you have to imagine the situation. This right here,
See, we're not having a back and forth, ma'am.
the Bob
Yeah.
Avenue.
You're allowed to give your comments,
Okay, so my
but this
comment
board can't
is,
answer all
Bob
of your
Avenue,
questions.
it covers the road for the vehicles, and then it covers the bicycle also lane, right? And then here you wanna build the parking lane for this facility, so how people will bicycle there? Plus here is a crossroad person is working, accommodating the buses coming out in for the school. The parking lot is full, so it's another conjunction with this facility.
okay.
So to summarize, your concerns are parking. I just want to understand, that seems to be your biggest concern, one that we should discuss possibly, but
Well, also, facility itself, it's not Skokie style. You saw it. So my questions will be, what is capacity of the building? How many parking spaces available? In case, if residents have events, if the school has events, if this agreement is canceled, back to, sounds like there's safety concerns. Who is gonna stay in those rooms? And why do you need a laundry if somebody will stay once a year? You can just go to a laundry and mat wherever. Why don't you build a parking lot?
Excuse me,
No.
Mr. Chairman,
Well,
are we
it's
holding
safety
comments
concern.
to
I have
3
three
minutes?
toddlers,
Yeah.
6, 4, and 2. I don't know who's gonna be staying there.
Well, we don't, it's not our place to vet these people, so,
So you have to think about it. I don't know if somebody's gonna break into my house.
okay, all right, that's a concern,
It is concern.
all right.
Okay, hold on. What is the wrong facility?
Okay, ma'am, I'm gonna ask,
Also, the
I'm gonna
bike.
ask you to make
There's
a comment.
bike and, you said there's a bike, like 4 spaces for the bike? How they will bike in the winter time?
Listen, I bike in the wintertime. Ma'am, I'm gonna ask you to, if you can
Also, I
bring your,
wanna
bring your
mention-
comment, bring it to an end, please.
There is in the corner right here, also, you have to also think there's other businesses which using the parking and Bob.
Okay.
There is a shop in the corner right here. This is the shop right here. These guys, they're coming to work, they park at Bob Avenue. They also park the broken cars from the clients at Bob Avenue because there's no other parking here.
Okay, all right,
There's
thank you.
another business opened up, there's another business opened up here. So the traffic here is horrible. And
Okay.
then,
All right, last comment.
and I'm gonna comment. So, hello Chairman Paul Luke and members of board. Thank you for opportunity to comment on below listed cases for 7852 Lincoln Avenue. So 2024-30P site plan approval through 2024-34P special use permit. My name is Nadia Vasil. I'm mother of 3 toddlers. We live at Bob Avenue. I'm writing to express my strong opposition to the proposed development by Durma Association at 7852 Lincoln Avenue, particularly in reference to the request for site plan approval, parking determination, special use permits for religious assembly and dormitory use, and any additional relief that may discover during the public hearing. So first concern is a building high visual impact case 2024-30P. The request to construct a 3-story building that exceeds the
Ma'am,
maximum.
could you just, rather than read us the staff report, could you just make?
It's not staff
give us-
report.
Well, you can submit that document to us.
I did
and
submit it.
Submit it to us for, put it,
It's submitted.
good, okay,
And there is a visual picture of how busy that street is.
okay,
I was coming home, there is 5 buses just came out.
okay. All right, I'm gonna ask you to, finish your comments, and we're gonna have someone else come up.
Special events.
Okay,
Special
That's
events.
that's
for
in the
traffic.
comments that was submitted,
Oh,
Mr.
tax
Chairman.
implications. There you go, tax implications. Oh, the important question. Thank you. So
no,
what
could
is
you
your-
please,
What is?
please,
What is
I
your?
need for you to finish up, so we can have someone else come up.
Okay, what is the income in 2020 if this is not profit?
That's not our concern.
It is concern.
It's
If
not
I-
a concern for us.
Because their facility.
Please,
their
please, no,
facility-
no, we're not gonna
their
answer, we're
facility-
not gonna go there.
Their
We're
facility.
not gonna
wi-
go there.
I'm gonna.
Please sit down.
Are you gonna raise my taxes?
Please sit down. Thank you. Next, anyone else has a comment, question? Yes, right to the microphone, please. I just need your name, you don't have to give us an address.
It's public comment, the public is not.
But I need to show something so it's understandable, so it's a simplified.
I apologize, sir, the PowerPoints are not available for public comment.
Okay,
Were you gonna read the comments that were emailed in?
Sir, the public comments, and to everybody who's present, if you made public comment, they are publicly posted with the packet online, which is why the commissioners are commenting that they've heard these already. It is most appropriate decorum. If you have submitted a comment to the public record already, and the village has published it, you have already utilized your public comment time.
Understood. Okay.
Yes.
The last time you said that who is not present, you're gonna be reading them. That's what you said outside the first time.
They
when
are
you
now
came to the meeting.
published. They are now published with the
Yes.
All
Can I
right,
ask-
thank you. So let me make it
Maybe
straightforward.
Kate, I'm sorry, Kate, what you just said, would you mind going to the podium and just speaking into the record so people at home, if they're watching, could hear it, just to be clear? And maybe give a little bit of overview of public comment and how it works for the Plan Commission, since I think we have a lot of people who are new, who've not participated in this process before.
Sure. Thank you for making that point, Director Nyden, as I was not microphoned. So, this is a public hearing. There are procedures for public hearings that apply to every municipality. They are state statute related. The process, in general, is that the public hearing is opened. The reports from staff and the petitioner are made. Public comment is not a question and answer. However, a member of the public may come up. It's widely known and practiced in Skokie for decades that, generally speaking, we ask comments to be kept to 3 minutes. Typically, all of the public comments are brought forward, including questions. Staff and the petitioner would make note of those questions, and following the conclusion of public comments, which are not a question and answer, once again, but questions may be raised, at the conclusion of that, staff and the petitioner have an opportunity to speak to the questions raised. The commission has an opportunity then to raise their own additional questions. They close the public hearing, and then they deliberate the case according to the standards in the village code. Decisions are made based on the standards for special uses, as it may be. If it's a site plan approval, there are standards for those, and variances, which is a separate matter heard by the Zoning Board of Appeals. I hope that helps. And we do ask that when you make a public comment, you sign in on the sign-up sheet. Minutes are kept for the meetings, and it's very difficult for us to determine the spelling of people's names just based on the recording of the meeting. So we respectfully ask that you follow the procedure for a public hearing and sign in, and I appreciate you doing that right now. I hope that helps.
I have one request.
We have your
I have
name,
some-
sir.
I would, just a minute. I would like to show a few things while I'm talking so you can get a context of what I'm talking about.
You should have.
Last time I asked,
uh,
and they say, bring a thumb drive, so I have it on a thumb drive.
We
So
cannot-
my statement would make no sense unless you, while I'm showing you what I'm talking
We
about.
cannot do that.
So then I was given the wrong information last time when I was
don't
here
know
in
what
December.
information you're given.
In December, right here, when I came up with a laptop, and then you guys said that bring it on a thumb drive. That's what I was told last December. So if the petitioner can present and give you the view, why can't I do when I'm making my statement? This is unfair.
You did say it, yes.
No.
You just told us, that's why I brought it. Or I have my laptop, I can do it that.
Sir, I'm sorry, we have not, we do not accept thumb drives because they are connected then to our computers, and it's a cybersecurity issue. So I'm sorry if you were given that information. We can work with you to receive the materials in another way.
But you would not get the context of what I'm talking about if you don't see it. You allowed them to see it, that is on your server. What's the difference?
Well, we cannot allow you to put your thumb drive into our system.
All right, I'll put my computer to projector.
It's the same thing.
That's not in your system.
It's the same thing. It is hooked up to our system.
This is, I hate to say that this is wrong because in December you told me, so I brought it with me. Okay? So whoever is your technical person right here gave me the wrong information, you have to deal with it.
We will deal with it.
You know, anyway, I'm gonna make a statement, and it's 4.5 minutes, I know that.
3 minutes.
So, 4.5 minutes, that's what I have. So, my name is Jay Trivedi, and I have been a resident of 7817 Babb Avenue since 1993. That's almost 32 years. We chose to settle in Skokie with its diversity, reasonable taxes, and excellent school system. Over the years, Babb Avenue residents have changed from the older generations living and the new younger families with children moving in. This has been a positive change. Overall, it has been a quiet and quaint residential street. As our neighborhood is flourishing, so is the number of cars per residence on the street, as those kids are now grown up and driving adults. And this is where I was going to actually show what street looks like even as of an hour ago. Street is packed right now, if you can drive up, and I don't know how many of you commissioner drove by and viewed the street. Okay, this is where I was trying to show you the context, what it comes from. Okay, at different time, including Saturdays and Sundays, and 6 in the morning, 6 at night, the pictures I had. Anyway, the committee is considering the application for DDMBA to build the facility and give variance to parking spaces and other building requirements. I would like to oppose the variance and the project for the following reasons, as it would impact the neighborhood negatively for the next 20 to 30 years. DDMBA projections for the building utilizations are based on their current usage in the rented facility in Wheeling. Currently, the organization has 200 members per their own statement at the community meeting, but it is safe to expect to grow significantly with this new dedicated $3 million facility, as they pointed out, and expansion of the program over the time. This is neither disclosed nor addressed as a consideration for this committee. Second, the current parking lot for the facility does not even meet the village current requirements for business. DDMBA has procured a rental agreement with the Assyrian Church, which is that Hanson building we referred to, next door for nearly measly $150 per year for 15 spots. And they updated that because they knew the concerns were there. If the agreement is terminated later, which the young lady pointed out, the 3 months notice, there is no alternative for DDMBA but to park on our Babb Avenue, because next door LeClaire Avenue has a 1-hour parking restriction already. Okay? DDMBA visitors will be forced to park on Babb Avenue neighborhood street. LeClaire is already limited to parking 1 hour. In addition, DDMBA main entrance facing Babb Avenue will eliminate approximately 4 current parking slots from the street alone at this point. Okay? And the street is already facing the challenges, and especially on the days, winter days with the parking restrictions. This is where you would have been able to get my context with the pictures. Okay? The village or this commission would have no oversight or the enforcement actions later on, and the Babb Avenue residents would bear the grunt of this issue over the next 20 to 30 years. Okay? The neighborhood around Babb Avenue is much more of a residential neighborhood with low 2-story profile. What their picture did not show, which I had the street picture, that everything on that is nothing more than a 2-story, the residential neighborhood. Okay? So that was a biased thing. You don't see it here, or would have allowed me to show you what I was referring to. The existing structure mentioned, including next door Henson building, now the Assyrian Church, were a mixed-use office building built over 35 years ago, not now, but remained low profile facing Lincoln Avenue compared to new masonry multi-structure building with a Babb Avenue front, and does not enhance or add aesthetics to our neighborhood. Skokie has been an attractive location, and I would think that this commission would like to attract more residents and families. The proposed location could be a far better serving our community and the neighborhood by having a new residential townhomes or homes that would add families, children to the school district, benefits to the local businesses like downtown restaurants, bank, local grocery stores, and more importantly, property taxes. Okay? While as a nonprofit, DDMBA would not be paying real estate taxes. The village has been successful on residential front on the 8100 block of Lincoln Avenue near downtown, and it is time to focus on this side of the Lincoln Avenue. Village is losing long-term potential tax revenue, both sales and real estate benefits by not converting into residential use property. As the next door Henson building recently has converted into a nonprofit Assyrian church, Village has already lost over $100,000 in annual property taxes that will be borne by this neighborhood. Thus, approving this new facility is a lost opportunity to recuperate some of the new residential buildings. A great location across from the school. A perfect example is townhomes on the Harvard and Lincoln, just 2 blocks east of the proposed building, and each townhome is contributing approximately $6,400 in annual taxes. And I did check those, each one of those. And that's over 30 years, over $200,000 without any increases in the real estate taxes for each townhome, which could be gained here for this lot we are talking about. Just think, economic benefit for Skokie, apart from school funding, and highly desirable location for families with children, right across from the school. New residential addition on this side would be overall increase the neighborhood value of existing residences, and the property taxes. More money for the village, rather than giving it away right now. As Village is trying to aspire to grow our downtown like Evanston and Park Ridge and so on, the DDMBA would not add any economic benefit to the village, as no new potential tax revenue, no potential employment, or the residential advantage, or even benefit to existing downtown restaurants and other businesses with their patronages. In addition, they would be called DDMBA chapter of Chicago. I asked this committee, so where is the benefit for the Skokie? Okay. Additionally, those 3 representatives who just presented themselves, if you notice it, none of them are Skokie resident. If it's such a wonderful project, why not they are building up North Shore, where they already are? Okay? Finally, thank you. Finally, the building will be used as a dormitory for the retreat, falls closer to a hotel than a commercial or residential. DDMBA has revised its retreat projections multiple times since October, okay, from 4 to 6 annually and so on. This is based on the current plans, and the commission needs to consider that over the next 10 years and beyond, retreats would definitely go up rather than remain the same with this $3 million investment this organization is making, okay? And they think that they're gonna use 4 to 6 times. Again, if I had my slides, I would have demonstrated that their New York retreat, they proudly showed that, and other things. That is being used in 2025 from their calendars, 109 days, okay? And other Los Angeles facilities and everything, I've gone and looked at the calendar. They're not using 4 to 6 times a year. So if they decide to change it, who is going to enforce it? This committee is done. 2 years, 4 years from now, this will change everything else. Who's going to come back and impose that thing? While we have to suffer with that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and I have a final closing. As I said, let's look at these organizations, other centers, which I was going to show you. They all are in a non-residential area with their own parkings. Now, finally, you know, as I pointed out all the issues, I would propose some suggestions for you guys. And DDMBA and this commission can certainly explore other locations more appropriate for the usage, similar to the LA or Toronto or New York centers, like east of Oakton Street, past Crawford Avenue. There are a lot of places, or even former Salvation Army place, which has a tons of parking also that location, okay? And the same transportation benefits and no parking challenges. On a personal note, about 16 years ago, we chose to do an addition of a floor on our home on Babb Avenue. Based on the current neighborhood, based on our plans, Village Commission required me to build an additional car garage without giving me a variance, and would not even consider a street parking right in front of my house, but there was no issue in those days, okay? And that led to an unnecessary financial burden and a one-car garage in the back that I still don't use it today, okay? If the long-term residents cannot get a variance for a single spot parking, why would this commission grant a variance for 10-plus parking spot for a new building that is going to increase the usage of the parking places by several folds in the future? I appreciate this board's patience with my long talk and no presentation. I'm sure that board would think long and hard on this issue, as they may be only serving for 2 or 4 year terms, but would impact existing residents in the neighborhood for the next 2 to 3 decades. As I had said before, once this commission approves the project, they have no oversight or the enforcement ability, and the village building permit department never reviews the original intent of this committee, as evident by the next door Henson building converting into a church with loss of over $100,000 in a tax revenue. Please do not take this decision lightly and put yourself in our shoes. And again, all of these residents and the visitors are coming from different towns. Okay? They're not Skokie residents. That benefits nothing. With that, I yield to any of your questions.
No questions. I do want to correct you, sir.
Yes.
Since they are under a special use, they will be under our supervision for the life of the special use. For the
So-
life of the special use.
Okay, I
They
stand
will be
corrected.
under our supervision. We're not going to walk away.
Okay,
No, that's, and the other thing I want to say, they are a religious organization, no different from Catholics, a Jewish synagogue, a Lutheran church, or a Presbyterian church. They are a religious entity.
So,
It's
sir,
not a nonprofit charity organization.
absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
So, no, I
Thank
will,
you.
I will
No,
have my
thank you,
minute to
sir.
reflect. I'm sorry. I am not against that religion or anything. I grew up Hindu, raised among Muslims, went to a Jesuit college, live in the Jewish neighborhood, so don't tell me who I am or
I'm not
why
telling-
I'm opposing that.
I am not telling you
Okay?
who you are.
So no, but your comment was about, I don't have anything. I follow Dalai Lama live, which I did not want to say that, which they represented the leader to. So it has nothing to do about religion. It's about the neighborhood and what it is going to turn into, and that's what it is.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, John Wilson. I'm at 7802 Babb Street. I've owned the home since 1988. My 89-year-old mother lives there now alone. And thank you for the opportunity to speak at this forum in regards to this real estate redevelopment project that's been presented here this evening. It's a very ambitious and impressive project. A 13-room hotel and conference meeting room facility, multi-million-dollar, I'm sure. I just don't see how such a use could be shoehorned into the lot on Babb Street in Lincoln. This particular project as presented has no parking. What the petitioner is proposing is to utilize the alley as their main driveway and back 11 car spots into the south end of the property line, which of course would offer no setbacks. You'll be 10 feet away from the woman's bedroom window next door. There is no parking with this project, and this is a 3 to 5 acre project requiring 100 cars, fenced-in, gated lot property. It's not going to fit on the corner of Babb Street and Lincoln, physically. There's just no way. And although very impressive, it's not suitable for a residential area. The parking is difficult to begin with. There's a lot of parking spillover from the condominium development that's on Nile Center in Mulford, which is close to my house there. And fortunately, Babb has this awkward angle at the end of it, and there generally is no one parking in front of my mother's house because of the way the street takes an awkward turn. But the demand that would be generated by a use like this, there would be nowhere else to park. People would be parking anywhere they legally could on the street. So again, thank you for letting me present that, and I look forward to hearing some of the other comments from my neighbors in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Excuse me. My name is James Kim. I live 7837 Babb Avenue. That is right next to that proposed building, right next to right here. Yeah, right next to that proposed building. This proposal raises a few major concerns. The first, economic consideration for Skokie. I believe the organization behind this proposal is registered as a non-profit, meaning it will not contribute property taxes as other residential or commercial development would. While Skokie value diverse land uses, it is important to consider a long-term financial impact of tax-exempt property on the village revenue. At the same time, this development will still require essential public services, including police fire protections, water, sanitation, and any other municipal services, all of which are funded by Skokie taxpayers. Without revenue contribution, the financial responsibility for those services may shift to local homeowners or businesses, placing additional burden on the broader community. Second, the limited economic benefit to the community by the proposed development. This project is designed to be self-contained, meaning its day-to-day operation will not contribute to the local economy in the way that residential or mixed-use development typically do. The building includes a fully equipped kitchens, large dining hall, either 3 or 2 hotel-style rooms. I couldn't exactly see the drawing, but I think more than 2 hotel-style rooms for full-time residents. And 17, or it says 17, but somebody says 16. So I don't know which one is correct, but 17 dormitory-style living spaces and laundry facility, providing all the necessary amenity on site for 40 to 50 residents. Because residents will live, eat, gather entirely within the facility, there is no direct economic engagement with the local businesses whatsoever, as far as I'm concerned. Unlike mixed use or residential development, which increases foot traffic, support retail, and enhances neighbor activity, this facility is large, self-sustaining, and does not integrate into the residential environment. I'll make it quick. Third, this is really important for everybody in the neighborhood. Third, this development will lower property taxes in my neighborhood. A potential home buyer will hesitate to purchase a property near dormitory hosting transient populations, regardless of how often the dormitory is actually used. Whether 6 times a year, as the owner claims, or occupy all year round, its very essence will shape the buyer's perception. Unlike stable residential development, where homeowners invest in the community for long term.
You're past your 3 minutes, but finish up, please.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry. Dormitory create uncertainty about who will be living there and how the property will be used over time. If a buyer is hesitant, the property value will stagnate or decline, meaning current homeowner will see reduced equity in their investment a home that was once appreciation asset could be
Okay, sir.
could become a difficult to sell property with a lower than market value
Sir,
offer.
if you want to submit that written statement to us, you can?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
All
I'll
right,
do that.
thank you.
But I lost, okay. Once
We have people waiting to speak.
okay, yes, okay. No, this is one last one, I am skipping two, but the one last one is very important because it is unique to my house.
Speak.
Yeah, that one I have to do because we all have a common concern, but this is unique. Beyond the financial concern, this development will have a negative impact on my house and daily life. The proposed three-story building which exceed the current zoning limit by 10 feet will block the sunlight and cast prolonged shadow over my house and backyard. This impact will be the most severe in the springtime coming, when the sun rises between north and east, creating longer lasting shadow over the very space where sunlight is needed the most, which that is our garden, which we have cultivated for the past 10 years.
Okay, sir?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is very unique, sir. I mean, just give me the 2 more minutes.
Sir, we have people waiting. Please.
Yeah, okay,
Please.
yeah.
You can submit that document to us for the record if you'd like.
Okay. Now, just one sentence here. When we purchased, I've been living there for 13 years. When we purchased our home, we paid close attention to the surrounding property. The current zoning over this land and its high limit gave us confidence that this area would remain residential. And why is the protection now being taken away? That's my question. Yeah. I respectfully ask the Plan Commission to reconsider construction of this dormitory in our neighborhood. I believe this project will have a long-term negative consequences that are far outweigh any potential short-term benefit if there is any.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Susan Blumenfeld. I live at 5133 Mulford in Skokie.
Okay. When you come up, you just have to give us your name. You don't have to give us your address.
Oh, I thought you said earlier we had to give our
That's fine.
address.
If you want to volunteer your address, that's fine. But it's
Okay.
not needed.
Well, I just first want to say to you that I have lived in this property for 60 years. My husband is also a Skokie resident of over 70 years. So I'm very familiar with each and every one of these houses and all the property around it. I want to go on record, I do not oppose the organization or their mission. I think it's a beautiful organization. I am also in an interfaith marriage, so religion has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with the building and the parking. They said that the building will not be an outlier because it is in the height consistent of every other one, but there are no glass buildings anywhere in this area. Skokie is bricks and mortar. It is not a big glass building. It is going to stand out like a sore thumb. Maybe if they reconsider the building style and lower it and do some other things with it, we would all be fine. But then you've got the parking. We have 2 condo buildings on Mulford. Well, one's on Niles Center in Mulford, and we have one at the end of Mulford. That already causes a problem with parking. There's a house down the street. The woman, actually, it was our friends. They actually moved because people were parking in front of their driveway, just to give you an example of how congested the parking is. A big concern is what if the Assyrian organization pulls the agreement on the parking. There is no alternative parking plan in place right now. That is very concerning to me because of my neighbors and their parking. I'm right at Babb and Mulford at the T, so it will affect me as well. I do not ever want to see permit parking on our streets. This is a residential area. We all entertain. We all have family with small children. We don't want them, we'd like the whole suburban living of being able to park in front of our streets if we have people over. So yeah, the parking is huge. So thank you for listening to me. And I also approve with pretty much everything my neighbors have said previously.
Thank you. Yes,
This will be short. I have a
your name, please.
Larry Donchin, Donchin. I live 3 houses south of the proposed structure. There was a claim in the presentation that the Wintrust Bank would provide 43 or 46 parking spaces. I talked to the regional manager of the Wintrust Bank. He said that he wouldn't sign anything. There's nothing in writing. He only told them that he wouldn't call the police if he saw them coming to park. I heard that these meetings at the assembly would start on Fridays possibly and extend through the weekend, through Saturday. Now, if some of those people, let's say 40 or even 30 or 20, would go into that Wintrust parking lot, they couldn't do business on Saturday. They open up at 9 and close at about 12:30. So it's very misleading to see a figure of 40 some odd parking spaces to be provided. And I just wanted to make sure everybody understood this is not a real agreement. It's a verbal, like a discussion that they had with Ross Matthey.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Peter Richek. I'd first of all like to say thank you guys for your presentation. That was helped me understand what was going to go on, and frankly, it seems like a fantastic facility that I would probably use. My concern is similar to many of my neighbors, just that the where of it doesn't seem like it's a great fit. Parking, as everyone seems to be talking about, is one of the major concerns. But really what we're here to talk about is zoning. The whole argument is, should we give a special use permit? And I think that in order to qualify for a special use, you should be able to say that it is in fact a good fit and it should check all the boxes. Seems like we have to make a lot of exceptions in order to accommodate for the needs. I'd be really excited to have you guys in our community, but I don't know that this specific location would be best. I do think there are lots of other opportunities in Skokie. There's a lot of vacancies, especially like on Main Street, which is looking for opportunities and people to come in. There's Oakton Street has other opportunities in different areas that are have large parking lots and more space. I'm a little worried that this would cause a lot of trouble in the already growing, as there's more businesses are getting involved on Lincoln Avenue, and I think a lot of what I want to say is just going to be redundant, but I don't think we should be making exceptions if it's not a clear and obvious fit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lida Kim. I am a resident of Skokie for 18 years. My house is right next to the proposed building. So I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. And I'm here as a concerned resident to strongly oppose the construction of this dormitory in our neighborhood. This project is simply not a good fit for our community and will bring serious problems: traffic congestion, safety risks, security concerns, and a negative impact on the quality of the life of the residents. And most importantly, this dormitory will be right across the street from Lincoln Junior High School. This is simply the wrong place for a high occupancy dormitory. As a real example, I don't have to guess what kind of problems this location could create. I've already experienced them firsthand. So on January 9th, a truck from a tree trimming company hired by the village of Skokie was backing out of this dormitory parking lot and crashed into my fence on January 9th. They didn't stop. They didn't take responsibility. They just drove away. And instead of making things right, when we tried to connect with them and resolve this issue, the company denied everything and even threatened to sue me for defamation for $2 million, saying they would take everything I have. This is what I'm dealing right now. If you pass my fence right now, you will see there is a hole in it. That just happened on January 9th. Now think about that. This parking lot is already unsafe, and the dormitory isn't even in use yet. I have a sitting area along the fence, and if someone had been sitting there when the truck backed up, they could have been hit in the head and potentially killed. What happens when there are dozens more cars coming and going every single day? This is a serious safety concern. Accidents like mine will become more common, and next time it might not just be property damage. It could be a pedestrian or a child from the school across the street. We already know this area is going to be too congested for a project like this. The Assyrian Community Center is moving to the Hansen Center this year, which is right next to this development proposal, which will already bring more people and more cars. The dormitory will make traffic worse, take up more parking, and create more safety hazards for residents, school staff, and parents. There is a better alternative. If there is a truly need for temporary housing for dormitory, why not use existing hotel on Touy Avenue? Hotels are already designed for short-term stays. They have oversight, security, and infrastructure in place, and they would benefit from the business. Instead of forcing a dormitory into a small residential area, why not use the facilities we already have? Give the business to local hotels and help support Skokie economy overall. The most responsible decision is to reconsider the dormitory building. This dormitory will create more traffic congestion and parking problems, increase safety risks, especially for students at Lincoln Junior High, lead to more traffic incidents, like the one I experienced on January 9th, bring security concerns due to high tenant turnover.
Okay, could you start wrapping up, please?
Yes, I'm almost done. Hurt the quality of the life of the residents. There is no good reason to move forward with this project, especially across the street from the school. I urge the commission to reconsider this proposal. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Please sign in.
Yes, sir.
My name is Peter Lucas. I live in one of the condo buildings at 7861 Nile Center Road. My family came out here in 1957. My father built a house. I entered Lincoln School, the one that they knocked down in kindergarten, in 1959. I think I've been in the neighborhood for a long time. My comment is, I agree with everything everybody came here to say. The building is too massive. The building is too ambitious for that lot. It's going to create, there's not enough parking on site, and even stating that other people in the neighborhood will loan them parking spaces, that doesn't fix the problem. Also, it was also brought up that this Dharma, I don't think that they're even ordained Buddhists, but nevertheless, they're teaching classes and they're charging fees. But they're a nonprofit. Actually, I want to say the one thing that's the most important. I've been here a long time, but I have never been confronted with a project so incompatible to an established neighborhood than this one. It's way too much, it's way too much traffic, it's way too much congestion, and obviously, we're all in 100% agreement on Babb, Leclerc, on Mulford, on Nile Center Road, that this, I urge you to vote no, and just pass on this for now. Maybe they could find another place in Skokie that they can go to, and there could be something more compatible with the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else who wants to come up and have a question or speak? I'm sorry?
Can I ask a procedural question to the committee?
Come up to the,
Sure. So thank you for taking procedural questions. I know you corrected me that this commission has the power to enforce all the regulations you do and all that thing. Great, and as I said, I stand corrected for that information. But my second question is, Hanson Building, which was a commercial building, turned into a Assyrian church, a nonprofit, okay? We live less than 0.1 miles or within 500 feet. None of us ever got a notice that that turned into a church from that. Now, we have nothing again, as in something was insinuated about the religion. We have nothing about the Assyrian church or this Buddhist church or anything. But we lost the tax revenue. So again, where was this committee to enforce your power? That's all my procedural question is.
thank you. Quick question.
Nadia Vassal, just wanted to point one thing out. If for some reason this service will be done like in 5 years, you just have to realize you're stuck with this huge facility there. And then we don't know who's going to move in, what kind of parking demands they will have, and so on. Another point I wanted to say, I checked also Skokie religious percentage. The highest is 38.7 Catholic, and the second highest is 3.9 Islam. And I'm sorry, but for you, I don't even see the percentage. So you have to consider.
Sorry.
I'll explain, because when we came to visit you for your meeting, we asked a question: why would you consider Skokie?
Mr.
And
Chairman, I
you-
don't think any of this is relevant to the case.
This is not relevant to to the case.
No, hold
No,
on.
no,
Let
no,
me
no,
finish
no,
my
no.
point.
We don't-
At the
no, no.
staff, at the
Could
staff,
you-
at
this
the
is-
staff report, there is.
Your information is not relevant to the case.
No, can I finish my thought?
No, no.
I'm trying to let him corral her.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I grew up in Skokie, okay? I grew up on Concord, I grew up on East Prairie, and I live on to the podium. Go ahead.
I'll just say, while we're on this subject, and Scott and I were talking about it. Actually, just one second, ma'am. Scott and I were talking about this at the last meeting. There is federal and state law which does afford more protection to religious institutions in a land use development, and that's something that this committee should take into consideration. And obviously, we do welcome all religions, but we certainly don't want to take into account any prejudices and just be wary that many municipalities have been sued for substantially burdening someone's religious freedom. So that's something the panel should consider.
Okay, I'm going to take a minute because I am not a Buddhist. I actually am Jewish.
Can I have your name, please?
Rachel Gilman.
Thank
I
you.
live here on Lincoln Avenue. I have been to the Buddhist Center and I have meditated there. While it's not my daily practice, I do find enjoyment in it as it clears my mind when I go through times like this, where there's tension in a room and you're sitting here amongst people of diversity. I don't know what religions you practice, but the Buddhist Center that's coming to Skokie is going to provide a substantial and I would say adequate, and I don't have the vocabulary right now, but when I've been through the darkest times of my life, Buddhism got me through it. Okay? My dad died of ALS. I had cancer. My mother had thyroid cancer, and she's going through other issues. Okay? And the clarity, the meditation, what it brings to the community is not something that should separate us all. I'm sorry. It should bring us together. Maybe the facility isn't adequate for the neighborhood. Maybe it is blocking. Look, I live, okay, but there's reason to discuss it instead of come here and try to shut it down. So at the end of the day, I face north, I face west. I have no sunlight. I know what impermanence is. There is no permanence to where we live and what happens on a daily basis. But I'm going to tell you this right now. If there is something that we can do, we can all come together, especially in the times of what's happening in America at the moment. I'm sorry to get into the political realm. But I will tell you this. If we all sat here for 5 minutes and closed our eyes and counted our breaths and saw how it cleared all of our tension in this room, you will see how this community will actually benefit the Skokie area. Not only will it bring everybody together, but it will be a community for everybody to come and without having to pay a membership. Where in a synagogue you have to pay for a membership. Where in a church you have to pay for a membership. You don't have to do that here. Man, $20?
This is,
$5,000
this
to
is
get into
citizen
some-
comment. This isn't a back and forth between citizens and the speaker. So if you could address your comments towards
Sorry,
us.
sorry. I
Because you're
apologize.
antagonizing
Yes.
as well. So
Yes,
just
I'm
speak to
trying
us,
to keep my calm
and then
because
we'll all move on.
in Skokie, there on Oakton Avenue, we have a building that has been sitting vacant in a skeletal form. Okay, I'm an interior designer. I build houses in the North Shore. I build over 5 million plus, and I know what it's like to have a community that will grow. Okay, I mostly work out in the North Shore area, and what's beautiful about Skokie is there's diversity, there's room for growth, and there's room for adding in all these, like we did on Lincoln and Oakton with what's his name? Lucien Lagrange with his new building and all the little restaurants that came up. We're building a nice community here. What does a Buddhist temple have anything to do with anything else? There's 3 churches in one vicinity. There's a Jewish, it's right across from Oakton. Now that we have the Assyrian place that I think that closed, but now we're bringing in another community, and it's so beautiful, and I don't know why everybody has to contest it.
Okay.
So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Thank you very much.
If you guys can all take 5 minutes to just relax and breathe,
Okay.
I think that would help, obviously. And thank you
Okay.
for your time.
Anyone else who has not commented wish to come up? Quick question, and that's it.
No, come on.
Come on.
Well, talking about the problems in my country's war, my mom was 3 weeks under the bombs. My dad died from the heart attack. I believe in God. I really, truly believe in religion. One of my cousins, he died in the front line in Russia, another one in Ukraine. So I pray for those souls too, okay? I respect religion, I respect. My question was, based on the staff report, right? Staff report, there's a comment. A total of 8 neighbors, residents attending the meeting had the opportunity to voice their concerns. So at that concern, we asked, why would you choose Skokie? And they said, we feel like we can bring more people here. That's why I said that by statistics, I don't think so. That's only one reason I said that. Thank you.
Quickly.
Can I just respond to Can I just respond? This is not about religion at all. Let me tell you, I'm Korean, I speak Russian, I'm from Muslim country. I came from, that's not about religion. This is just about safety, about the traffic, about the,
Okay.
the concerns
All right,
of
we understand.
dormitory.
we-
So this is not about religion at all.
I didn't take your comments as being anti-religious. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Could we have the petitioner come up, please, and final comments and rebuttal?
I would like to address
Could
a
you
little bit
give us
on
your
the,
name, please,
parking
again?
issue. And the first thing I want to assure.
Would you-
He asked for your name.
Oh, I'm
Just,
sorry.
introduce yourself again, please.
Yong
name.
Chen. Yeah, I thought I already, first time I come, I have done this. Anyway, what I want to tell everyone here, especially to the neighbor, is that we, DDMBA Chicago chapter, intend to be a good neighbor. We will have no intention to create any problem or any concern for our neighbor. So when at very beginning, we have give a very deep thought about the parking, and based on our operation since from 1993, and along with the more intense operation after 2000. And I also have shown from our activity list our president has presented with our regular activities. Our 11 parking spaces is more than enough to accommodate our needs. When I signed up the parking agreement with the National Council of Assyrian National Council of Illinois, that, as a matter of fact, is meant to accommodate the possible additional parking need for the visiting teacher retreat. So with the 15 spaces, our 11 spaces, we have a total of 26 spaces. That should be sufficient to cover the 30, maybe 25 or 30 people coming along, because some of them actually are walking here or even back here, or may even taking the public transportation. And again, as you have seen in our presentation, currently, last year, this year, we only have a 2 retreat. So, and then again, we have agreed, we have a promise to the village Skokie, if anything, we probably only have 4 retreat per year, and with a maximum of 6 retreat per year. This evidently is limited by the potential candidate to come into this activity, and also restricted by the how much support our current volunteer basis can afford. It's require a lot of the planning, a lot of work, a lot of supporting work. So right now, 4 is actually a big burden to us, and 6, I don't know how can we come up with sufficient staff support for this type of activity. So again, the only time we need to have 26 parking spaces for those visiting teacher retreats. And regarding our agreement with the Assyrian, we have, I understand, we do have a clause there saying that the Assyrian National Council of Illinois can cancel the contract with a 3 months notice. And I do have talked to many of the directors and the vice president of the Assyrian Council, National Council of Illinois. They assure me that probably will not happen at all. It's just because one or two of their board just say, well, what happened if something really happened? We need to take it back. So that's why we put a 3 months prior notice so they can cancel that. But I do have their assurance that it definitely will not happen. And on the other hand, as I mentioned, we have looked into the parking issue. So we also are not going to rely on that rental agreement. We also actively looking the additional parking, other options to resolve the parking requirement. And of course, I don't really have any, right now, I haven't come up with a solution yet. So, but again, I will spend a lot of time once we get our organization up and running. I will look into that and see whether we can come up with some other solutions. And in regarding to the parking spaces of the North Shore Community Bank, again, that's a oral agreement between us and the bank. And there's total of 46 spaces there, and if anything, we need to use it. Most likely, I'll ever visit that kind of big gathering generally occur on Sunday. The bank does not open on Sunday. And again, the bank, my understanding, is open to until 12:30. So even in an event, we may need to use those space on Saturday. It'll be the Saturday afternoon. Will not collide with the bank operation, okay? So, and if you add the 46 spaces plus 26, that's total 72 spaces. That most likely will be enough for us to accommodate about 100 people, because again, some of the people will come in, like carpooling, walking, bicycling, and so in a way, with the provisional use of the bank space, there will be sufficient parking spaces to accommodate our rare event, happen once or every 2 years, or maybe even 3 years. As he said, he actually never seen our abbot. So again, it's a relatively rare event, and again, we as a responsible organization, and we are an honest organization, we will really look into that. We will cooperate with the village of Skokie to address any concern the village may have, the neighborhood may have. So again, I just want to emphasize that we want to be a good neighbor. We want to provide whatever we can provide to the community. And if any concern, you come to us, we will try to address it. And again, with the help of the village, well, at least we will consult with the village of the Skokie. And I hope that can ease at least some of your concern.
Alan Myers, just.
Can I rebut what this guy
No,
just
no,
said?
please sit down.
Alan Myers, just a real quick comment on the use of the what we would consider retreat accommodations versus dormitory. It is literally used 12 nights a year, right? As we were saying in our in the presentation. It's not transient home for transients. It is used as somebody is coming to a retreat to meditate and to have personal growth. And I think I think those two things would you don't necessarily have a security risk with somebody that is coming to a meditation retreat, I guess is the point I would like to make.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to close all public comments. If you have a comment, you're more than welcome to come to the board meeting when this case comes up before them. And if you're on the register, you will be notified when that meeting will be. Again, they meet at the first and third Mondays of every month. Okay. Yes, Commissioner.
Would you mind stepping up? Do you own the property that you're building on? Do you already own that?
Yes.
And is that already tax exempt?
Yes.
It's just not relevant.
It's not relevant.
It's not relevant at all.
Yeah, just-
Plan Commission
you don't
members,
know.
we would advise you not to talk about taxes at this time, and the petitioner should refrain from answering that question.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
I'll take it back.
Okay.
I have a question before we vote. Can we assume then that all of the cases, now incorporate that one phrase that Abbott visits will be limited to not greater than once every 2 years. Kate, Johanna? Or I don't want to make that, necessarily make that a condition of each case as we vote.
I feel comfortable that it is referenced in the first one in site plan approval.
Yes.
But if you would like to make, it is referenced in 32P, but if you would like to add it to 34P for a belt and suspenders approach, you may do that.
Do you think it has to be added to each of the others?
I don't think so, because
No.
parking determination is something that is just, does not go to the village board, and those are the other two cases. So it's 30P, 32P, and 34P would carry on for final consideration to the village board.
Okay, I'll make it each time.
I would reserve for 34P.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. Commissioners, any more discussion, comments? Okay. On case 2024-30P, the site plan approval at 7848 and 7852, 7854 Lincoln Avenue. Do I have a motion?
Jeff?
I'll make a motion that the staff report be accepted as presented.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay. Call for the vote. Commissioner Speyer,
Aye.
Commissioner Manchella,
Aye.
Commissioner Scott Berman,
Aye.
Commissioner Franklin,
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Berman. And I'll vote aye. In case 2024-31P, parking determination for a religious assembly.
I
Commissioner-
move approval as presented.
Commissioner Speyer, did you raise your hand?
Oh, no,
Okay.
sorry.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Okay, call for the vote. Commissioner Speyer,
Aye.
Commissioner Manchella,
Aye.
Commissioner Scott Berman.
Aye.
Commissioner Franklin,
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Berman,
No.
and I'll vote aye. And in case 2024-32P, which is a special use permit for religious assembly at 7852 Lincoln.
I move acceptance as presented.
As presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Franklin. Call for the vote. Commissioner Speyer,
Aye.
Commissioner Manchella,
Aye.
Commissioner Scott Berman.
Aye.
Commissioner Franklin,
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Berman,
No.
and I'll vote aye. Parking determination in case 2024-33P for this is for the dormitory portion of the site plan approval.
And before we vote, just to clarify, Johanna, you don't think this is a place where I should?
Not the parking determination, no.
Okay. All right, I'll wait.
Do we have a motion to motion?
I move acceptance of 2024-33P as presented.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Call for the vote. Commissioner Speyer,
Aye.
Commissioner Manchella,
Aye.
Commissioner Scott Berman.
Aye.
Commissioner Franklin,
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Berman,
No.
and I'll vote aye. And we come to 2024-34P.
And now
a
I'd
special
like,
use permit.
and
Yes.
now I'd like to move that we accept as presented with the condition that we add the language that was also already in 2024-30P that restricted the number of Abbott visits to not greater than once every 2 years.
That's for the Abbott.
For the Abbott visit, yes.
Okay. Do I have a second for this with the addition?
By the way, that doesn't,
I'll second
moved and seconded, it doesn't restrict his visits.
No,
But
no,
it
no,
restricts,
no, no.
it restricts our parking determination at a special event to not greater than once every 2 years.
Okay. Call for the vote. Commissioner Speyer, I got a second from
I second it.
Commissioner Berman.
Aye.
Did you,
Aye.
thank you. Commissioner Mancello,
Aye.
Commissioner Scott Berman.
Aye.
Commissioner Franklin,
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Berman,
No.
and I'll vote aye. Okay. Again, these cases still need to be finalized and approved by the Board of Board of Trustees. And if we have your information there, or if you want to come up and sign up, you will get a notice as when this case will go before the board. Any other, okay, now, okay, now we move on to non-agenda items. Do we have any? No. Then we'll go on to public comments on non-agenda items. Anybody can come up and make a comment. You have 3 minutes on non-agenda items.
I have a question, comment. Sorry. I think that it was interesting to see the whole vote and the presentation and everything, and you guys reflected exactly what's going on in Washington DC. The community showed up here, a lot more speakers against that, and you still voted aye, okay?
Is it on the table, Bill, or something?
How is, sorry, so how is this commission gets appointed? And April 1st is coming. Thank you.
Anyone else, please? Feel free to come up.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Okay, so, my,
This is not to be related to the cases. On the agenda, it's public comment, not related
can you
to
please
the
stop with your
agenda.
rules? I just have a comment here. What's the next procedure, who we have to address the problem?
It has to go before the Board of Trustees for final approval.
When is gonna happen?
Well, you will get,
All of the agenda items are on the website.
Yeah.
We encourage you to follow.
You always, every time I ask you a question by email, you're misleading me. You give me just general, somewhere link, it doesn't lead me to
The
anywhere.
first
I
and
know your
third
tricks.
Mondays of every month they meet.
When is it?
It's on the website. It was already stated a minute ago by our chairman, the first and third
That's okay. Can you
Mondays
please
of every
repeat? I'm
month.
special case. On every Monday?
The first. and-
first and third Monday of every month.
You guys really disappointed.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Oh, wait, anyone else have a comment? Okay, now you can make the motion.
I make the motion that we adjourn.
Okay. Second? Okay, all right. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.